Just are going to miss it. Perfect. Awesome. Let's get it. So, um, hold on a second. So, uh, for those of you who don't know who I am, some people sign up for my credit program, y'all, that don't really know me. Um, they just put their trust in me. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Kayla. I am the founder and CEO of KLR Financial Solutions, and I'm a mother. I'm an entrepreneur. I do also own a tax firm. I've been a credit specialist since 2020, and I built this company to just help people like you. All right. So I didn't grow up knowing anything about credit or financial literacy. So everything I learned, I now teach it though with structure, accountability, and with care, right? Because I noticed that a lot of people have no idea about credit, you know, and a lot of people are not educated because we wasn't taught this in the school systems. Okay? So this space is for education, it's going to be for clarity and real life financial growth. So my mission is to help you rebuild confidence and unlock opportunities that you feel like you haven't been able to really, you know, to have to take advantage of because your credit's been holding you back. All right. So credit repair is not overnight. I like to make that clear, but consistent action truly creates changes, right? Now that you know a little bit more about me, let's talk about why we're here today. Okay. So we are here today because you are already in the process with me, right? And I did open this up for others to join that may not be in the credit repair space. But for you, the ones that are here today, all so far that I've know that's on here, you guys are already in the credit repair process with me. Um, and this coaching space is designed to help you understand what's happening with your credit. All right. So we want to help you protect your progress and build better credit habits while we're cleaning up your credit report. So you're going to learn what affects your credit score without getting overwhelmed, and you'll know what actions help or hurt your file during the process, because it's super important to know these things. A lot of people think that credit repair is just removing items off your credit report, but it's so much more deeper than that. All right. So, this is also going to be a great place where you can ask questions, stay accountable, and keep moving towards your goals. So, this leads us to what you should be doing while I'm working on your credit report. All right. So does anybody have any questions before I keep going? All right, I'm gonna take that as a no. So let's keep moving forward. Hold on, I got a question in the chat. Okay, no. All right, so why does it not let me go forward? Like, what is going on here? Hold on, I'm going to stop sharing just a second, guys, and figure out why it's not letting me. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to not share it, like present it, because I don't know why it's not. Sorry, we're gonna just share it like this. Hopefully y'all can still see it. All right, so I'm gonna share it like this, and y'all, if y'all can't see it, just let me know. But I don't know why it doesn't let me go forward, and I don't want that to be the reason why I have to keep stopping. So while we clean up your credit reports, um, I want you guys to know that this is a team effort. Okay. So, yes, you are paying me to fix your credit, but at the end of the day, this is a team effort. All right. Um, I handle the report strategy while you focus on daily habits that protect your progress. And what I mean by that is both parts are equally important, right? So we're going to review and audit your credit reports. I'm going to build a strategy based on what's reporting, and then I send out disputes and follow-ups based off of what I come up with, depending on your credit report, what I see reporting. So that means anything that's negative, inquiries, if you have high utilization, if you have closed credit cards, if you have charge-offs, collections, if your personal information is not where it needs to be. I pretty much come up with the game plan and the strategy to clean up what's being reported on your credit report. Okay. So while I'm doing that, um, we're gonna also track the responses and keep you updated through your client portal. So it's gonna be very important that you get familiar with your client portal because that is how you track the process. Right now, if you're just getting started, if you just started, you're not gonna see anything besides what you started with because we're just getting into the first round and there's no updates, nothing for you to see. But you can track your scores and what's being like removed or updating on your credit report. I definitely would say download Credit Karma or download Credit Karma and use the experience. That way you have those free options to track it. Because you're not gonna be able to track it on my free score now. My free score now is really for me to get updated credit reports every 30 days. That is what you guys are paying for. That's why it's important to have that. And that's why credit monitoring is required because I can't, if I can't track what I'm sending in and what I'm trying to challenge on your credit reports, it defeats the purpose of credit repair. So it's important that you keep that active every month for me. And I'm sorry, guys, I have really bad sinuses, but we're gonna get through this today. So, the credit monitoring is super duper important. All right. That's what the My Free Score now is. Please do not go. I know people get excited and you want to see the progress of your credit, but please do not order new reports until it's time for me to do that. Let me handle that. Your job is just to keep it active and make sure it's paid for me to have access to your credit report. Hold on, I got a comment in there. Yeah, so if you have sometimes you do have you can look through your banking apps, but I highly suggest still use Credit Karma and Experian because then you'll be able to see if there's like sometimes they'll show you if there's if the accounts are being removed. So that's kind of cool when you can track it in real time. So you can use all three, but I highly suggest that you use Credit Karma and Experian. Don't focus on the score because Credit Karma is not really accurate scoring, but it's really good when it tells you about if things are being removed from your credit report or if anything's added on your credit report. Credit Karma does a really great job at that. So I highly recommend you use all three. And plus, if you're seeing updates, like I really would love for you guys to screenshot that, post that in our school community, post it on Facebook, like share your progress with people because believe it or not, like that inspires other people. And it also it inspires it inspires other people, but it also gives people hope because like I like to be very transparent. Just credit industry, people have been scammed before. People feel scared to work with certain people because they've been scammed already. They don't know about me. Some people don't even know about me, but show people what you got, what you're working towards because that can help inspire the next person and it can put them on with somebody who's trustworthy, who's going to actually take care of them. Um, in this industry because there's a lot of scamming going on and people need, when they hear it from somebody that they already trust, like, she's getting her credit fixed. Let me see who's helped her because I did this before and somebody got me out my money. Like, nobody has time to be wasting money and nobody wants to be scammed. So definitely make sure you are sharing your progress with me. I get excited. So please, guys, if you happen to see Any deletion, any score increases, please screenshot that and post that in the community. If you don't want to post on your Facebook, I understand. Some people are very private. Usually, I like when I'm posting results or anything for that matter for marketing purposes, I do take you guys' name out, just because I know people are huge on privacy. So please share with us. Your scores, and if you don't want to publicly share it, definitely share it in the community with the others. Just because people be needing that motivation, that inspiration. You just never know what people are going through, and that could be the very thing that helps them that day. Like, ooh, she getting results. I might want to do that too. That they it gets them thinking. So make sure you guys are posting your results. Definitely use Credit Karma and Experian. They're both free options. And I promise you, you're gonna see results. Like if you already got your information into me, then 9 times out of 10, your disputes have probably already went out because my team we move pretty quickly. I'm hot, like really big on that. If you keep your credit monitoring active and you keep, if the credit monitor, once you get through the client portal part, you're good because you won't have to go and update that information unless you move again or something and I need to update the address for you. But as long as you keep your credit monitoring active, you're going to be super happy because I'm gonna be on time with your disputes. Like I don't play around, okay? I'm very serious about what I do. And if of course make sure you pay your monthly, the $57 a month or whatever plan that you're on with me. Make sure you keep that up because I always update within that 30 to 40 day mark. Okay. Um, and I literally make sure I stay on top of these disputes, okay, y'all? And most of the time when people don't have updates, it's usually because their credit monitoring is not active or something's going on and I can't, they didn't pay their monthly or whatever the case may be. It could be anything. And I don't have access to the credit report. So I'm gonna do my job. I just want to make sure you guys are well aware of what you need to do on your end so we can work as a team. Okay. So, yeah, so your role right now is to pay on time, avoid unnecessary applications, keep balances low. So your credit cards need to be low, guys. Do not max out on your credit cards because that is going to hurt your score. If you go over 30%, you're going to see a drop in your credit report, your credit score. If you stay below 30%, you potentially see a potential increase of your credit score. If you stay at 10, if you go 10% and lower, you're going to see a huge jump in your credit score. So the lower your utilization, the lower your credit card balances, the higher you're going to see your score. If you max out on the credit cards, you're going to see your score go down. Like it's heartbreaking, but that's just the reality of how it works. Okay? So make sure you keep your balances low and you're going to receive mail. You're going to receive a lot of mail. When I start seeing these like challenges and disputes and stuff, you're going to get a lot of mail to your house. Um, You can upload it in your client portal if you if you see fit. But really what I'm looking for is if you get any lawsuits. So if a sheriff comes knocking on your door and they say, "Oh, we're gonna sue you for a collection you have on your credit report," because sometimes that happens. If you wait too long to start cleaning your credit up, then these lawsuits start happening. Okay. Um, I'm here to tell you not to panic because there is a way to beat them. There's a way to fight them. And I do know those ways. So if you don't tell me to get these things, I can't help you. So make sure if you get any lawsuits at your door, it's really important to let me know. Like you can upload it to your client portal, but I really highly suggest you message me. Hey, Kayla, the sheriff knocked on my door today and put this on my door. They're trying to sue me for this credit card I had, or this, collection I have on my credit report. Let me know so I can guide you on the next steps of what needs to happen. Okay? So, um, definitely make sure that you're letting me know about your mail. And also, let's see here. Um, any like serious alerts, like if you have questions, I really would like for all communication to go to the client portal. Because I mean, if you message me on Facebook, let me see, we just had somebody join in. If you are, I'm not sure who this is, but can you please put your name in the chat so I can know who's in here with us? Or you can change your name on Zoom, but I definitely need to know who's in here. But welcome. Thank you so much for hopping in, and I hope you enjoyed this session today. So, um, yeah, so that client portal is gonna be like your gold mine, okay? Like when I tell y'all that is where you're gonna track everything, okay? Everything is tracked. So what you're gonna know I'm doing my job because you're gonna be able to see what I have in dispute for you. You're gonna be able to see what updates are going on, what was removed from your credit report, what could have been potentially added. Because sometimes, believe it or not, when you try to do the right thing, we have weird things start to pop up. Like you might forgot about something and now it wants to decide to pop up on your credit report. It happens. Let's see who's with us. Yeah, what's your? Can you put your name is Key? Can you what's your last name, Key? I don't know who Key is. K-E is. And if you could just put your government name in the chat so I can know who this is, I definitely would yeah, it's a great box because oh, okay, we talked okay, okay, well welcome, welcome. I know I opened the floor up to people who aren't clients. So yeah, welcome in. I definitely appreciate you for hopping on. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and keep going. All right, so let's go to this next slide. So let's get into it. So what makes up a credit score? Like, do y'all know what makes up a credit score? Because I feel like a lot of people fumble this, not because they don't want to know, but because you were never taught this. But this is very important. This is what makes up your credit score. Okay. And this is where a lot of people mess up because your credit score isn't just a random number. Okay. It's built from the information on your credit profile. So that means your daily habits. That is what really matters. And that is what I'm working on cleaning up is your daily habits, right? Um, so I'm working on cleaning up and also, coming up with a strategy to make sure we can get you into a better position. So the biggest focus areas are paying on time. Y'all see this? Payment history is 35% of your credit score. So if you miss a late payment, ooh, it is so detrimental. Like you might see your score go from the high 600s down to almost the 400s because a late payment can take you 100+ points down. That is so heartbreaking, y'all. Please pay your bills on time. Make sure you guys are writing these things down. Get a journal. Do what you got to do to stay on top of your payments. Okay? Because it's 35% of your score. It's the biggest part of the pie. Okay? Piece of the pie. All right? Now, basically, on-time payments is like the foundation, y'all. So if you can keep up with your payment history, keep up with your payments and make on-time payments, you're going to be in a better position because it's the biggest part of your credit report. Yeah. Yeah, Maisha, she put the signs above her. Yeah, girl, let me tell you, like this is the bread and butter right here. This is where people fumble the most because they don't understand the data points of how your credit score is made up. And I'm glad you guys are on here because this is going to separate you from knowing and actually doing because now you're gonna be able you'll be like, you know what, I'm not missing no payments. I'm not missing no payments. Okay? Like it's so important, y'all. All right, now let's talk about the next big thing. The next big thing is utilization. Utilization in your balances. Remember, I told y'all it's important to stay below 30%. 10% is better because, like I said, you will see a bigger increase in your score. With them credit card balances, y'all, it's super important. And it's important to have credit cards. A lot of people don't even have a credit card because they're scared. But if you don't have a credit card, now you're missing 30% of your score. So while you wondering why your score is stagnant, why it won't go up, it's because you're missing 30% if you have no credit cards. It's required to have revolving credit because it's 30% of your score. So if you don't have a credit card, Right now, it's important to go get one. Go get a secure credit card. A secure credit card is you're gonna take at least $200 of your own money. Go to your local bank, and if you've been paying attention in the group, that's why I asked who y'all bank with. Chime and Cash App are unacceptable. I don't like those banks. Don't get me wrong, no shade to them. I had them before, but you cannot work. You can actually get a secure credit card with Chime, but you need more than Chime. You need an actual bank where you can get a secure credit card. All right, because you want to start building your credit. If you have no credit cards, you are going to be missing 30% of your score. Let me see. Let's check these comments. Yeah, girl. She said, I've been tearing that card up. Yep. Now listen, I'm not telling y'all not to um use your credit cards because you most definitely want to. But this is the cheat code right here. Let me tell you the cheat code. So if you have a credit card and say it's a $500 limit, right? It's got a $500 limit. No, matter of fact, I'm gonna do $200 limit because a lot of people need to get started with a secure credit card. So if you got a $200 limit, you only want to use 10% of that credit card. So if you got a $200 limit and 10% of 200 is only $20. So every month when it's time for them to report that statement due date, it needs to only be reporting $20. So y'all, I'm gonna give y'all some homework. If y'all do have credit cards, and if y'all don't have credit cards, you definitely need to make that your next goal is to get one. And if you got to get a secure credit card, start with $200. $200 to $500 is good enough. Just put on the credit card. But you want to do it through your bank because you want to start building a relationship. The goal is to start building relationships. You can't build a relationship with Chime. You can't build a relationship with Cash App. You can't build a relationship with Vimo or whatever else cards y'all are using that are not actual banks or credit unions. You need to be building real relationships with real banks. Okay, so your homework is to get a credit card. Get a credit card and when you get a credit card, or if you already have a credit card, call and figure out your statement due date. Your statement due date is the date they report the balance to the credit bureau. So if you use your credit card and you pay that balance back down to 10% before they report it, you're good. That's the cheat code. That's how you use your credit cards every month. You pay that balance down very super duper low. So when it's time for them to report it to the credit bureaus, your balances, which is your statement due date, because you got your due date and you got your statement due date. There's two separate ones. Your due date, throw it out the window. We don't care about that. Your statement due date is important. Okay? Now, if you fall on hard times and you're just strapped for money and you need to pay your due date, just you can't pay the whole balance off, and you just need to make sure you get paid by your due date so you can avoid the late payment, then by all means do that. But I'm gonna tell you a secret. If you know you can't pay this money back, do not depend on your credit cards, y'all. I'm telling y'all right now, that is how people fall in the trap of getting charged off credit cards on their credit report because they're using their credit cards as if it's just their money and it's not your money. It's just there for you to leverage when you need to. The goal for credit cards is it's like a emergency fund. If you know that you might be short on your rent, or say you come up with $1,500 for your rent, but you short $200. You know you got $1,000 credit card. Instead of using your whole $1,000, only use 200, but use the rest of your money. So that way you're not maxing out on these credit cards because you're strapped for cash. You don't want to max out, y'all. I'm telling you, that is the huge. You see what I'm talking about? 35% and 30% is what is making y'all up. 60% of y'all score, 65% of your score. So if you are fumbling this spiel, please fix it because this is going to help you. This is going to help you become better at managing your credit. Okay? So, um, hold on one second. Okay, cool. So let me check the comments. Okay, I see the comment. So cool. All right, so next, y'all, is length of history. So the length of history is 15% of your score. So y'all know how y'all be rambling about getting those student loans removed off your credit report? Student loans actually are usually the oldest accounts on your credit report. So it's actually helping your score, believe it or not, because it's 15% of your score is your history. So if you had student loans on there for 10 years, that's actually helping your credit report and your credit score. Now, if you have your student loans and they're not, they have late payments on them and they just look terrible on your credit, then yes, we definitely need to remove them. But why remove them if it's not really hurting you? And most people want to buy houses and think that student loans is going to hurt them, but they don't even care about the student loans. They're not even looking at them. That doesn't factor into your debt to income ratio. How do you think doctors are getting houses? They're usually their student loan debt is bad because they're doctors. So of course they've been in school longer. It costs more to be a doctor. Um, but it doesn't factor in really anything. It don't really affect you. Okay, only if it's like late payments reporting on them. Then yes, we definitely need to get them student loans off of there. All right. So 15% is your payment history. That's why it's important to not close out credit cards because now you might have had that credit card for 5 years and now you closed it for what reason? I have no idea. People just do stuff, but now you're taking away 15% of your score because you just closed out 10 years of history. Right? And then 10% is credit mix. So 10% is credit mix, right? So let's go back to payment history because I'm not gonna go off this slide yet because I need for y'all to understand how important this part is of the process and just a period for your credit. So payment history is the foundation, y'all. Payment history is the foundation of your credit score. It makes up a huge 35% of it. So this means while we're working on cleaning up your credit report, your biggest job is to protect every single current account that you have, right? New late payments can really slow down our momentum and create fresh negative history. So I could remove two or three accounts off your credit report and have you guys up 150 points, and now you got a new late payment. Now, yes, those collections are gone, but now that 150 points goes down. It drops 150 points because you just racked up a new late payment. So you see how I said it's teamwork. You know, some people be like, oh, like I've had people say, oh, you haven't helped me do anything. Like my credit score isn't going up. I don't see any progress. And here I go. I'm like, okay, well, let me go take a look at what's going on. Because that could be true. There could be no progress going on. Not that I'm not doing my job, but maybe the credit bureaus are moving slow. But let's take a look at it. Let's see what's going on. I look, they got a new late payment. They got 20 new inquiries. They keep running their credit. They're not paying their bills on time. So you know what? I'm gonna go back and tell that person, I understand your frustration, but the reason why your credit score is not where it needs to be is because you got new late payments. You got 20 new inquiries. And they be like, what? Oh, you know, they be mad, but now they understand because I'm showing them exactly why their credit score is where it is now. So this is why I'm telling you this stuff early on because I don't want that to happen to y'all. I want y'all to be able to avoid that as much as possible, so you can see the progress, right? We don't want late payments to slow down anything, okay? Or, like I said, it makes it much harder to see progress while we're working so hard for it. So make sure you're paying every bill on time, even if it's just the minimum, right? So, like I said, if you know you max out on your credit card and you only have enough to pay the minimum payment, please pay that because you might can't avoid that 30% being high, but you definitely can avoid getting a late payment, which is 35% of your credit. Okay? Payment history. Does that make sense to y'all? Do y'all have any questions before I keep moving? Yeah, so when I say late payments, like I mean, if you're reporting your utility bills to your credit report, definitely make sure that that's paid on time. But usually people don't like. I don't really recommend you report utility bills to your credit report. But yes, anything that is on your credit, so if you have a car, reporting car payments, credit cards payments, student loan payments. If you're not in deferment, you're paying monthly for your student loans. You need to make sure that you're paying those bills on time. Okay, so you just need to make sure you're doing good with your credit cards. And if you have a car report on your credit report, definitely make sure that you're paying your car payment on time. Anything that is reporting on your credit, you need to be paying on time. Okay, so I highly suggest that you set up auto pay or calendar reminders, y'all, to help you out. And if you ever fall behind, communicate early and get current as quickly as you can, right? So you want to make sure you confirm all your due dates this month and set up those reminders. Set reminders, y'all. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a calendar, I have notebooks, I have my notes, I have reminders set in my phone because I have a lot that I do. So sometimes I'm human, I forget things too, but I've learned that you have to set reminders for yourself. You know, if you have kids, if your kids play sports, if you know you're working doubles, like, it's not that you purposely forget, it's just be that because we're human and we can't, sometimes we just need reminders to help us out. So make sure you guys are setting those reminders up so you don't forget. And one of the biggest things I see people do is that they'll change cards and forget they'll forget to like put that new card on the auto pay or put that new card on the subscription that they were supposed to pay. And now they forgot, a month goes by, a new late payment hits. And not that you purposely did that, but because you forgot to add the new card. So if you're switching cards, maybe some fraud happened or something, and you had to cancel your current card, and you need a new card, make sure you're updating your card information as well. Okay? So this is how we build a strong base for everything else we do. So anything we do, right? Your payment history. Then let's talk about another big factor that moves your score fast. Like when I tell y'all, if you're over 30% right now and you pay that down by the next update I do, you're gonna see a huge like heightened in your score. Like you're gonna be like, wow. Like so all this time I've been over 30%. As soon as I get down to 30%, my scores went up. Like you're gonna want to keep doing that because you're gonna see the progress. So after your payment history comes utilization. This is another huge factor that can move your scores really fast. So credit card utilization is simply how much of your available credit you're actually using. So if your balances report too high, your score can drop. All right. So even if you're paying on time, so say you make the minimum payment, but your balance is too high. If you use that, if you had a 500 credit limit and you're at 450 reporting, that's over 90% of that credit limit. It's going to report high. So yes, you paid the payment on time, but your score's still going to go down because you're using 90% of that card and that credit limit. Okay, so uh, you want to make sure that you want to make sure that you keep those credit card balances down. Okay, sorry y'all, I have really terrible sinuses. Um, So we want to aim for the best zone, right? So keeping your balances low before that statement closes, y'all. Please, if you don't know what your statement due date is, find out. Call them. Hey, what is my statement due date? Now, y'all might get a rep on the phone who don't even know what a statement due date is, which is crazy, right? Because they work at the bank. But I've seen this. I've seen this happen. They don't know what they're talking about. So if they say what statement due date, because they might just know about the due date, they might just not know how to explain that part. You say this is what you'll say to them. Okay, if you don't know what my statement due date is, what is the date that y'all report the balance to the credit bureau? And they're gonna be like, oh, okay, now they're gonna understand that language. They're gonna tell you the date. You write that date down. You get a journal and you say, okay, my Discover card reports on the 5th of every month. So let me make sure that that balance is paid before the 5th. So it reports low. So if the 5th comes, they're gonna report the balance. You wait. I always tell my clients wait 3 days to let them report that balance because you don't want to think that they reported it and then use the card again, then they report it, and now you're back at square one. So wait at least like 3 to 4 days. Make sure they report it. If you gotta call them until you figure out the gist of how they're doing it, hey, has y'all reported my balance for this month yet? And if they say yeah, then you're cool to use the card again. But just make sure that next month you pay again before the fifth. You see what I'm saying? It's a cycle, y'all. It's a repeating cycle. You want to make sure that you stay on top of these balances, okay? And keep them as low as possible. Okay, we just had somebody hop on. Let me see who's in here. Hey, Angelique, how are you? All right, so um, yeah, so keep your credit card utilization, guys. Keep your balances low. It's gonna you're gonna thank me later. If you didn't know this information today, you're gonna thank me later. It's gonna help you out so much. Okay. Um, like I said, the key is knowing your statement due date. Figure out what your statement due date. That's the balance that often gets reported, not just your due date balance. So if you can pay your credit cards down before that statement closes, this helps lower your balance reach, right? Before the credit bureaus get it. And please, while we're cleaning things up, avoid new debt spikes. This is a big one, okay? And I'm gonna dive into that, okay? So far we've talked about how 35% of your score was payment history. So that means don't get any new late payments during the credit repair process. We talked about 30% of your score being amounts owed. So any credit cards that you have, that's included in your utilization. So let me also be clear about this. If you have say you have a loan, a personal loan, your personal loans aren't included in your credit card utilization. It's only credit cards that are included in your utilization. Okay. So if you have a $50,000 loan in your credit report, as long as you're making that payment on time, you're good. What what people mess up the most is, like I said, getting a late payment on their credit cards, or maybe they forgot to pay their car payment and they're reporting it late. But what people forget is that 30% utilization. Your balances that report to the credit bureaus is so important as well with your credit cards, because you want to make sure they're reporting low. All right. We talked about 50% of your 15% of your score being length of history. So I know y'all probably see people always talking about, oh, I removed my student loans. Like, oh, yes, like my student loans are gone. Listen, if you're getting student loans from the government, you still got to pay them, okay? Like, whether it's on your credit or not. So I'm here to tell you that usually student loans aren't really affecting you. From my knowledge of me just like working with realtors and just certain people, they're not really factoring your student loans into anything unless you are late on them, or like your student loans are, if they're reporting derogatory, but if they're positive, like it's really helping your credit score out, because usually people have been in school for, maybe those student loans have been on their credit for 10, 15 years, and that is 15% of your score. So just imagine me removing your student loans. That can hurt your score. Now, of course, we could always rebuild it, but like I feel like I'm not gonna, well, I know for sure I'm not gonna open up a can of worms for nothing. Like, why would I remove your student loans if it's really helping you? Now, if I see they're negative on your credit, of course I'm gonna try to remove them. But hear me out though. Once I remove them, you still are responsible to pay them because they're government loans. Now, if they're personal loans, to your discretion, if you don't want to pay them, I highly don't suggest that. But that'd be your business. But government loans, you have to pay them back. Like, there's no running from that. Okay, unless you get forgiveness, and then it just wipes the debt away. All right, so let's talk about what basically your credit mix. So 10% of your score is everything right here. So payment history, 30% so the amounts owed, your length of history, so your credit history and new credit. So you want to have a different credit mix, so different accounts, right? So you want to make sure you have credit cards reporting. You want to have like loans. So your car payments, that helps. All that helps. Yes, it's a monthly payment that you have to pay, but every month they're reporting positive payment history to the bureaus, and that is actually helping build your credit. So you know how that saying people say, "Oh, I paid my car off and my score went down." Because if you've had your car for 6 years and you pay it off, and now they close the account out, you're losing 6 years of history, and that's going to tie into that 15% of your score, because now that chapter is closed. So you know what happens is you need to figure out how you're going to keep, having payments report every month. So you want to make sure you have like different types of accounts. So if you don't want to buy a new car, okay, cool. But at least make sure you have enough to cover what you just lost. So if you know that you don't want to go into a new loan, which is cool, you don't have to go buy a new car. I mean, if much people pay their car off, that's debt that they feel like they don't want to make new debt. Um, Make sure that you're keeping up with your credit cards. Make sure the balances are low. So it outweighs that account closing because you have all this other good stuff going on. Okay. Let me see. Okay, that's it. How you doing? Thank you so much for hopping on. We really just getting started. So you missed a little bit, but we got a lot more that we're going to talk about. Um, so and then new credit. 10% of your score is new credit. So if you notice, if you keep applying for stuff, that's why your score is going down because 10% is new credit. So if you go and get to a car dealership, and that's another thing. If y'all want to buy a car, please consult with me first so I can guide you on the best way to do that. Okay? I don't recommend it while you're getting your credit fixed, but hey, life happens, and sometimes if you got to do what you got to do. I understand that. But at least consult with me on anything you do, okay? So I can guide you on making the best decision. Um, so 10% is new credit. You want to make sure you be careful with that, guys, because like I said, it can damage your score. Applying for new things can damage your score. The hard inquiries are going to take your score down every single time. All right. So I already kind of talked about this, but like I said, payment history is the foundation. So as I mentioned, 35% of your score is payment history. It's the largest part of your score, guys. Like, I cannot stress it enough. Please do not get any late payments, right? Protect your progress with simple systems. So pay every bill on time, even if you only make the minimum payment, as I mentioned. Use auto pay, right? Calendar reminders, due date alerts before the payment date even arrives. And if you fall behind, communicate early and get current as quickly as possible. So what you want to be doing now is confirm every due date this month. Every due date and statement due date this month. Set up auto pay or reminders for active accounts and avoid ignoring small bills that can become late marks. Okay? And then, of course, we talked about utilization. So, this is the best zone. If your balances are low before the statement closes, this is the best zone to be in. This is where you want to start watching. Try not to let balance report near 30%. Okay, because then now you gotta really watch what you do. You're walking on eggshells at this part, like right here, this zone. And if you have maxed out credit cards, ooh, you're really at that risk zone because now you're going to see your score decrease. Okay, so first you want to know your statement due date. Okay, I mean statement date or statement due date, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you call and get that information. You want to pay it before it reports. So if possible, pay cards down before the statement closes so a lower balance reports to the credit bureaus. And do not max out on your cards. Because while I'm cleaning your credit, you know, you want to avoid new debt spikes because that's going to work against any progress that I have going on for you. Okay. And then ask before making big credit moves. Please consult with me, guys, before that happens. And then, of course, building positive reporting. So the goal is not just deletions. The goal is to replace weak patterns with stronger reporting habits that lenders can trust. So you want to show them that you are a responsible person. Your credit report is essentially just like your adult credit report card, right? You know how we have report cards in school where our parents want to see have us having A's and B's and good remarks and comments on them. It's the same thing with your credit report. You need to treat that like how you treated your schoolwork. You want to make sure that you're showing that you are a good person, that you can make your payments on time because believe it or not, that's what the lenders are looking for. When they run your credit, they're looking at your score, but listen, they're mostly paying attention to what's going on your credit report. They're looking for if you're getting late payments. They're looking for if you're maxed out on your credit cards. They're looking for if you just keep applying for new credit all the time. That's why having inquiries on your credit report can hurt you. Not because it makes your score go down. That it does make your score go down. But if you try to go apply for something, they're like, wow, she just got 20 new inquiries. Why is she always applying for stuff? Like it makes you look bad. So make sure you're paying attention to that, guys, because all that matters. Now, four ways that can help you is like I said, if you don't have any credit cards, I highly suggest you go get a secure credit card. If you're banking with Chime, Cash App, make today. Like, okay, let me take Kaylee's I mean, Lord, I said Kaylee's. That's my daughter's name, y'all. Excuse me. Let me take Kayla's advice and go get a credit card because I have none. If you have credit cards, make sure you're keeping your balance. Your job is to make sure your balances are staying below that 30%, but really stay at that 10% mark because that you want to see your scores increase. And if you are just getting a credit card, remember I told you you can pull out your calculator and do the math. Say if you put $200 on that secure credit card, times that by 10%, every month the balance should only report $20. Okay? And that's what that balance should be on your credit report. That only $20 that keeps you at 10%. If you have a $10,000 credit card, you got more leverage. You only want 10% to report. So only $1,000 of that $10,000 credit limit that you have, only $1,000 should be reporting every month. So say you pay all your bills. This is another hack I want to tell y'all. This is how I do it because I like to build points up. I know y'all have those credit cards that can give y'all points like traveling points, grocery rewards, gas rewards, what type of credit card you apply for that fits your lifestyle. You want to be taking advantage of that. Well, I have credit cards and you're not utilizing it. So this is what I do. I travel a lot. I go on business meetings. I take my kids on vacations a lot. So what I do is I'll take my credit cards and I pay all my bills on them, right? Pay my rent, I pay my car. Well, I don't have a car payment no more. I just pay my car off. But I pay my rent. I used to pay my car payment on it. I pay my insurance. I go grocery shopping with them. This is stuff that I know I'm already going to pay anyway. So what I do is I use my credit cards, and then I take my money and pay my credit cards back, right? So now I just racked up on points. I didn't use my credit card just for the heck of it. I use it for things I know I already had to pay anyway. Stop using your credit cards and you know you don't have the money to pay them back. Use your credit cards, leverage the credit cards for bills that you already know you got to pay that you're going to pay back. You got to pay back anyway. That's how you build the relationship with the banks because they're like, ooh, she's using her credit cards, but she's paying them back. I'm gonna take her from a secured credit card down and put her up to an unsecured credit card, and they might take you from 200. You might go up to a $10,000 credit limit. That is the goal. That's what I want to teach y'all. I want to teach y'all how to utilize your credit because having a $200 credit card is nothing. Imagine having 100K in credit that you're able to use. You might not even make 100K in your salary, but you got 100K in credit. You can you literally get rich off credit, y'all. I'm telling you right now, you can get rich off credit. Like it's so powerful. It's so powerful. Oh my goodness. If you follow just these little tips I'm telling y'all today, I promise you it's gonna help you out. And just imagine if you go from a $5,000 credit limit to now you have $100,000 in credit. to really change your life. You might can take your kids on the vacations you've been wanting to take them on. You might can start a business that you've been wanting to start a business on. Because now you have money that you can use to leverage to make you more money. That's the goal, is to use your credit cards to make you more money. Now, if you don't want to be a business owner, cool, but at least just know, don't use those credit cards if you don't have the money to pay it back. But if you are a person who want to start a business and you have 100K in credit, you can use that credit cards, but just make sure you're paying that money back, or whatever business that you start, you better make money, because now you use that money to start the business, you got to pay it back. Okay. So before I keep going, does anybody have any questions for me? I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all the hot seat. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for now. And I really would like to know if does anybody have any questions for me, so I want to help you out. Okay. I don't care what question it is, if it's about home ownership, if it's about credit cards, if anything about your credit report that you are unconcerned about, please, you can drop it in the chat, or you can come off mute and you can ask me those questions.
Okay, so I recently applied, well, I had to file for bankruptcy, and I'm basically building from the ground up. And everything that you told or said about the credit in general has like put a batter in my back because I've been doing everything the wrong way. However, if my end goal is buying a house, where should I start since I have bankruptcy and the 2 year mark is in December of this year?
Gotcha. So first and foremost, your bankruptcy is discharged, right?
Yes, they did it, but the lawyer said my 2 year mark, which will be in December of this year, is when everything will like start to be vigilant, I guess, about the bankruptcy.
Gotcha. Okay. So, um, usually when you file bankruptcy, as long as it's discharged, you kind of have like you have more opportunity, believe it or not. Um, for one, I would definitely want to remove that bankruptcy off your credit report. So I'm definitely glad that you are enrolled and now you're taking steps to fix your credit, because bankruptcy usually stays on your credit report for 10 years, depending on what type of bankruptcy you have. Um, whether it's a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13, it stays on your credit report for 10 years. So my goal is definitely going to be to remove that bankruptcy, because that actually it holds your score back, because it can hold your score back like 50 to 100 points. So I definitely want to get that off there ASAP. Um, Usually with bankruptcy, you do bankruptcy, but what happens is, all these accounts get closed out, but then they're still reporting on your credit report, which is still not helping you, because if you were to go buy a house, they're gonna be like, well, you had bankruptcy, and you still have these negative accounts on your credit report, that might hinder you. But it might not. It's so if like I've had mixed views with it. Like I have some clients that say they bought a house and they just filed bankruptcy, but the bankruptcy's been discharged. Then I have some clients who are getting denied for it because it's on their credit. So I guess it just depends on the lender that you're working with and the type of loan you're getting. But my goal would be is to just get that off your credit report. Now I know you said you have credit cards, so um, if you don't mind me asking, what do you have right now that you're paying on your credit report? Like revolving. So your credit cards, do you have any open car loans? Tell me what you are having to make payments on right now on your credit report. You still there?
My bad. To be honest, like this is my first hearing on. I don't report to my credit report. I just look at and see what's on it. And basically it's like all of my mistakes are on there pretty much. So I guess it's just all about cleaning it up and doing things the right way and just catching the drift the right way. Because I also just started a business, but talking to you in reference to what I started, I don't know if you remember the conversation, but you told me that I need to clean up my personal credit to get business credit or to build business credit or so on and such forth. So I kind of like, I just jumped in head first because like I'm drowning either way. So I'm just trying to clean it up the best way possible. So I don't know. I'm just following directives at this point.
Okay. So, do you have any credit cards that you're paying on right now?
Yeah, I have one credit card through Capital One, and I
Okay. And
just got it
what's the
at the
limit?
500, and that's why I made the comment that I made because I didn't realize what I was doing, because basically what I was doing was like I was using it, like maxing it out, but I was paying it off before it was due, if that made sense. So it helped me. But when you mentioned that when you don't pay it by the due date, it does something, because something was just like, just look. And I just looked on my credit wave, and my when I started off with my credit card, it was my credit score was like 627 or something like that. And I just looked, because of my credit card usage, it's 511.
Gotcha. So it sounds like your intentions are great. You know, you're trying to do the right thing, but it's just having that knowledge, and that's okay. So this is what you need to do going forward, so you can not have those decreases happen because of your usage. Um, you want to make sure that you figure out your statement due date. So make sure you call Capital One, ask them what your statement due date is, so you can figure out when your balances are going to be reported every month, because sometimes your intentions sound like they were good, where you said you was paying it back, but you were paying it back and basically using the card again, and it looks like you try to make it, but you just use the card again, and now it's still reported the high usage, so it kind of backfired, and that's okay. That
Yeah, it
happens.
did. It
That happens to
backfired
people.
because yeah, it backfired because, in the midst of using it and not knowing what to do and how to do it, it
Right.
like I was just so sorry about that.
Oh no, you don't have to say sorry. Like, you just gotta do better next time now that you know the information. Like, at the end of the day, like, this happens to a lot of people because they don't know anything about the statement due date. All they know is the due date, and now that you know the statement due date, well, you have to figure out your statement due date. And like I said, sometimes these bank reps, they just there for a paycheck, let's be real. So sometimes they don't know either. So if they don't know, if you call and say, "Hey, what's my statement due date?" They gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" I had it happen to me before. So if they don't even know what you're talking about, just say, "Hey, what is the date that y'all report my balance to the credit bureaus?" They be like, "Oh, your reporting date," and then you be like, "Yeah," and they'll tell you. So make sure you get that, because you want to make sure that only $50 report that balance. Pay it down to at least 50. Matter of fact, pay it at 50. You don't want to keep it at zero, because you want something to report at least 10%. That is a cheat code. At least you want it to report, because you want to show that you're using these credit cards. That's the whole point of them reporting it to the bureaus every month. Because when you're applying for stuff, the banks, they have a third party, like, they have a third party system where they can see what's reporting. When they're reporting your credit, they can see like what you're doing, the history. So you want to make sure at least 10% is reporting. So that's going to show them, oh, well, she's using her credit cards, but she's using them responsibly. She's only using 10% of her credit card every month. They don't got to know you maxed out your credit card, because if you pay it at least 10% back, that's all they're going to see. So that's the goal. So find out what your statement due date is. Use your credit card if you want to. If you want to max it out, that's on you. But just make sure you beat the system. Pay at least 10% of it back. I mean, pay at least it down to 10%, so you can beat the system. So instead of you seeing your score going from a 620 down to a 511, now you're seeing your score go up instead of it going down. See what I'm saying? Like, you reverse what you just did. So that's how you can build your credit up. Now, I do not like Capital One. I'm not gonna lie to you, but because you already have them, you do what you got to do to just keep it looking good. I don't like Capital One because Capital One does not. They're very stingy on the credit increases. So the most you'll probably go up with Capital One is like 6,000 credit limit, right? Which sounds good, but when you can go up to a 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 credit limit, you gonna be like, wow, like 6,000. Come on, Capital One, can I get a little bit more? They're not gonna give it to you. because that's just how Capital One is. But I'm not saying to get rid of the card because you already got it because that's going to hurt you. So you just do what you can with it. Um, is that the only thing that you have right now is Capital One?
Yes, that's the only credit card that I have.
Okay, and I'm not mistaken. I try to pay attention to what y'all say in the group. You said you have Navy, right?
Yes, I have Navy, but I also paid attention to that and a couple of things that you said about that. And in general, like how Navy reports in reference to, how you utilize things and how they, like, I can't get a secure credit card because my scores with the banks haven't been the best, if that makes sense.
Sure. So you gotta fix your relationship with Navy. Navy is a um
Absolutely.
relationship building bank. So try to get back in good standing with them because they are actually one of the best banks. Like they got the best products. And what I
Like,
mean
I'm
by
not
that,
in a negative or anything, but the way that they report, I've never kept my balance above a certain amount, and I always like zero balance it, and then if that makes sense. So they want you to,
should.
I guess, kind of keep something in there and keep a minimum balance so that they can see, and then that way you can do like the secure credit card and turn it into unsecured and so on and so forth.
Right. Right. So I always like if you have Navy or anybody who's on here right now, if you have a credit union, I highly suggest use them as direct deposits for your job. Like because that way they see consistent money going in your account every month. They see that you have a job, a stable job. So they're relationship building banks. Most Navy and most credit unions are relationship building banks. So you can have a high credit score, but if you're not showing them consistency, then they're not going to approve you for certain things because they're based off your relationship like that you build with them. So I highly suggest that if you have direct deposit going to another card or something for your job, I would switch it to Navy. So that way that would fix your problem where, that minimum balance is dropping low. I would just highly suggest you um, have your direct deposit go to that bank because what's going to happen is you I will call Navy or if whatever credit card you have, I will call Navy and say, hey, I really want to apply for a secure credit card. I have $200 right now that I could, put on the secure credit card. Can I get it? Just see what they say. And they might allow you to do it or walk into the branch. Another thing is if they won't allow you to get a secure credit card, you can get a pledge loan. And I'm actually going to show you what I mean by that. So give me a second. I'm going to pull up. Um, Let me know if y'all can when you can see my screen. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about because I really this is why I want to do these calls because like Navy offers so many things and a lot of credit unions do. It's not just Navy, but a lot of credit unions do. Can y'all see my screen? You can drop it in the chat. Let me see. So if you can't get a secure credit card with them, you can get a pledge loan with them. So a pledge loan is not a credit card, but it's like a personal loan, but it's a secured loan. So you still have to supply you have to put your collateral up, your money up, but it's a way that you do it. So I'm trying to see if I can find it on here. Hold on a second. It's called a pledge loan. Why isn't that popping up? Let me just search it. Oh, there it goes. Certificate pledge loans. So this is a pledge loan. So you get a pledge loan, um, and you can do. You don't have to do 1,000. You can start with 500, but it says minimum. But actually, this might not be it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just tell you about it. I don't know why it's not pulling up. Yeah, it's recorded. It's not pulling up, but I'll just explain it. So if you have a credit union and you go to your credit union, you ask them, hey, I'm interested in opening up a pledge loan. They're gonna ask you how much do you want to open up? How much do you want to do? You let them know that you want to take $500 to $1,000, put it in the pledge loan. What happens is it's going to once you give them the 500, you're basically going to get the $500 back because it's like a secure credit card, but it's a secured loan instead of credit card is different. So what happens is the hack is you pay 90% of that back right away. So as soon as you open it up, as soon as you give them the 500, they give you the 500 back. You take the $500 they give you back of your money that you opened up for the unsecured loan, pay 90% of that off. So if you do 500, so you give them 500 for the pledge loan, and you pay 90% of that off. So you're paying 450 off, right? 90% of that loan has already been paid off. They're gonna report that to the credit bureaus the next month. Now you only owe them $50 left. So you take that 50 times that by 12. I mean divide that by 12. Every month you wanna set up on auto pay that you pay $5 back every month for the next 12 months. You see what I'm saying? To pay that $50 off. Because what you want them to report that to the credit bureaus. Every month you pay them $5, but you already paid 90% of the loan off. That is showing them that you're building credit. And that actually is a quicker way that I built. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. So what's going to happen is once you pay that 90% off, they're going to report that you paid 90% of that loan off already of your money. And then you take that $50 times that by 12, or if say you just want to do 6 months, that's cool too, because that shows enough history. Say you want to do 6 months, say so if you want to do 50 divided by 6, instead of paying $5 a month, now you're paying eight. Well, we'll say nine because it's $8 and 33 cents. So we'll say $9 a month. You're paying $10 a month for the next 6 months up until that loan is paid off. When you pay it off, you're gonna get your money back, right? Because now you that was your money you put in. You already paid it back because the goal is for you to build your credit. That's what the pledge loan is for. Just like a secure credit card, but it's different. It's in just a loan part. Y'all get what I'm saying? Does that make sense to y'all? Let me know if I need to break it down again. But that's how you build your credit up, and that's how you build a relationship with the banks. That's how you can go from secured loans or secure credit cards to $50,000, $20,000 credit cards. Because now they trust you because you built a relationship with them. They see that you are able to make monthly payments every single month on time, consistently. That is how you leverage your credit. That's how you go from having $0 credit limit to 100K credit limit. Like credit is so powerful, I can't even express how powerful. This is just your personal credit. So if you want to start a business and you want to leverage your business credit, oh my goodness, you're opening up so many different doors because now you have great personal credit. You learn how to master that. Now we're going to master your business credit, and you to master your business credit. Now you're like, woo, like you might got 100K in business credit, and you might have 200K. I mean, you might have 100K in personal credit, and now you might have 500K in business credit. Now you got all this money around you. So now, yeah, you might work and you might be living check to check, but you done built your credit up so strong on the personal side and the business side it is so powerful, y'all. Like when I tell you, you can be rich off credit. I have clients come to me all the time where they're business owners. They have some credit, but because they have certain things that's on their credit report that's stopping them from like actually maximizing their business credit. I remember taking one guy, I think he had like $12,000 in business credit, but he wanted to go to have more because he owns a roofing company. He has employees. He wanted work trucks. He wanted all this stuff so he can build his business. So I helped him take his credit from his business credit from a 12K limit. So now he owns over $1 million. He has over $1 million in business credit now. So he's able to buy more work trucks for his company. He's able to really build his business. I think he's got like he started out in Fredericksburg, no, in Manassas, Virginia. And this is somebody who's local. He started off in Manassas, Virginia, and now I think he has multiple locations in different states now. So he's expanded his business. And I can't stress or kid you guys enough. Like credit can really change your life. It can really make or break your life. And if you continue to have bad credit, that's why y'all always see me preaching. I have people all the time who delete me off their page because they say I talk too much about credit. But I never cared because credit has changed my life. And I know for sure it can change other people's lives. So that's why I'm okay. I don't care. I'm gonna talk about it all day long. Like, because I know that it's something that can really change your life. So if you guys continue to get on these calls like this, every week I'm gonna have some. Well, not every week, but I do these calls every first and third Saturday of the month. So you got me 2 times a month, and of course, she said you gave me an attitude before. I believe it. I know I gave a lot of people attitude, but I didn't care. You know, you can't care what other people think or what people say because guess what? If I cared about your attitude or what somebody else thought about me, I wouldn't have made it as far as I am today. So, being a cheer starter in the business, that's just some advice. Do not care what other people are thinking because at the end of the day, they don't understand they don't understand your vision, they don't understand what you're trying to do, like, and that's okay. Some people just don't understand the vision, and I'm okay with that because I understand where I'm trying to go, and that's all that matters. So it's super duper important to make sure that you take take this serious. All right. Let me go back to my little slides though. We wrapping up here shortly. Um, so like I stated, you want to be careful with new applications, right? Don't be going crazy, y'all. I know y'all be seeing I know y'all be seeing, if you see score increases, I'm happy for you, but don't get super happy and go start applying for stuff because when I tell you, like, it's super important not to get new credit, especially while I'm fixing your score, okay? So pause, ask, and plan before you just go apply for stuff. Please consult with me. Um, the things to avoid while I'm cleaning up. Don't chase approvals. Multiple nows can create unnecessary inquiries without helping your situation. Do not finance impulsively. Large purposes can change balances and lender perception quickly. So if you know your car is on like its last leg and you're like, Kayla, I'm scared my car is not gonna make it. I need a car to get back and forth from A to B. Can you please help me? What do you think? I'm going to help you. I'm going to tell you, like, hey, have you been built that relationship with your bank? Maybe your bank can help you. You might can go to your bank and get a loan, auto loan, instead of just going straight into the dealership. Or I might say, hey, do you have money for a down payment? Maybe let's go to a buy here, pay here. Let's not even put a car on your credit. Let's just work with a buy here, pay here. Actually, if you are in Virginia, I do have a buy here, pay here plug. I have somebody that they sell used vehicles, but the vehicles are pretty good in shape. I've sent plenty of family there and clients there. So I'm a very resourceful person. Come to me first, please. Okay? Ask me questions first before you just go and start doing stuff. It's super duper important. I cannot stress it enough. What to do while I work on your credit report. Okay. So while I'm working on your credit report, like I said, you want to avoid new damage, protect your positive accounts, keep your credit card balances down, unload notices to the portal. Get familiar with your client portal. If you forgot your login, I can easily send a password reset for you. Okay. Ask before major credit moves. Okay. I cannot stress that enough. Please. And of course, what you don't want to do is apply for unnecessary credit, max out on your credit cards or run your balances up, miss payments during cleanup, or ignore collections or credit bureau letters. Okay. Um, your next best steps. You do not have to figure this out alone. This is what I'm here for. This is what you pay me for. My goal is to work on your cleanup strategy and your consistency between updates and what helps protect the process that we are actually building together. So, progress comes from clean reports, better habits, and steady accountability. So my thing to end this out with you guys before our next coaching check in, I want you to check the portal. Right now, I'm gonna make this clear because I know it gets confusing. Right now, you're not gonna, if you just started with me, you're not gonna see anything, okay? Because we just started, so I don't have an update for you until we get to do the first round. But between 30 to 40 days, 45 days, if I've already sent out your letters or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna give you an update. You're gonna get an email from me. I'm just gonna let you know, hey, you got a new score update in your portal. Everything is all tracked every day, okay? So you're never not gonna hear from me. Now, there is times where people will be like, Kayla, what's going on? I haven't had an update. Well, is your credit monitoring active? Is your credit monitoring on? Most people sometimes they forget to pay it, or maybe they just didn't have the money to pay at the moment. If that happens, hey, just say, hey, Kayla, I was a little short this week. I'm not able to pay my credit monitor right now, but I'm gonna keep it updated when I can get it back on. Just communicate with me. That's all I ask. It's for communication. Hey, I can't do it right now, but I got you. I'm gonna update you, and I'm gonna let you know when it's updated. I have hundreds of clients, okay? Please stay in communication with me because I don't purposely forget about you guys. It's just that if your client portal is not, I mean, if your credit monitoring is not active, and I'm talking about my free score now, if it's not active, I can't give you an update. So that has to be active monthly for me to be able to do those updates. So if you know you can't pay it, because maybe you paid the $57 a month or whatever, plan you're on with me, and you like, I can't do this extra $40. I gotta wait another week or another 2 weeks. Let me go ahead and hit Caleb and let her know. Let me know. I don't judge anybody because I've been where I've had to, you know, do things accordingly. So I'm not here to judge anybody, but please let me know so I can know and I can write your name down. Hey, okay, such and such said they're gonna pay their client portal in the next 2 weeks. Let me make a note so I can hit them up when it's so I can go back to them. I don't want to forget you guys, but again, I have hundreds of clients, so I'm trying to keep up with everybody. All right, pay on time. Protect every active account. One new late payment can slow down your momentum. Watch balances. Keep you hold on one. Sorry, y'all. Got the kid. It's Saturday, so the kiddos is home. Um, but yeah, so let me get back to it. So pay on time. Make sure you're paying your payments on time. Watch your balances. Keep your utilization low. Avoid maxing out on your credit cards. I know I keep repeating the same things, y'all, but I really want y'all to understand these things because this is what's going to help you. And then, of course, bring questions. There is no dumb question. I don't care what question you have. If you asked me it before, I don't care if you forgot. Please bring your questions. I want to help you because that is the whole point of me doing these calls. I want to make sure I can help you. And then you got the group as well. There's a Q&A section in the group. Okay? Use it because your question can help the next person. Yes. No candy. Not right now. Okay? I'm gonna get with you when I'm done, all right? Okay. And of course, stay patient, stay teachable, make sure you stay consistent, and just know that we're building for it. So before I close out, like I just want to know, like, do you guys have any questions for me? Okay, I got you. I see your question, Key. So if you have, do you? So I gotta ask you a question. My next question is, do you have? So the accounts that were wrapped up in your bankruptcy, are they still reporting on your credit report? Drop it in the comments. Yes. So you need credit repair. That's the question. You need credit. You need credit repair. We gotta get them. We gotta get them accounts off of there. Because yes, they might not. They might be closed, but they're still negative, and they're on your. And you're still reporting on your credit. So those accounts need to be removed off your credit report. Okay. So even if you do bankruptcy, you still most people still need credit repair. Okay. So make sure. Gotcha. Okay. Yep. So that will be my goal is to do credit repair, and then of course, I'm going to be teaching you how to rebuild your credit up. But the goal right now is, if you can't start credit repair right now, what you'll be doing is make sure you build positive credit. Okay. Build positive credit. Keep building that credit. So okay, TransUnion though is clear the accounts update. Okay, yeah. So usually what happens is with bankruptcy, when people file bankruptcy, like all the accounts are zeroed out, but then those collections are still reporting on your credit. So even though it says zero, that's not enough. We need them accounts gone completely, because if you go to run your credit somewhere, they're gonna judge you off that. They're gonna be like, well, you just filed bankruptcy. You still didn't pay your bills. I'm not trying to sound mean or nothing, but that's how they're thinking in their head. They're like, file bankruptcy, but you still didn't pay your bills, so I'm gonna deny you. We don't want them to see any of that. Like we don't want them to have any type of prejudgment against you. We want them that not to even exist. Yes. Hold on, okay, mommy, almost done. Does that answer your question? Okay, perfect. Yep. So the good thing is that, like, you know, you are taking action. That is super duper important. A lot of people don't do anything. Like they don't even try to do anything. So the fact that you're trying, that is a good thing. So definitely keep going, and you're definitely gonna get to the end goal of where you really want to be. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, you said you have a late payment on one closed account. Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, so sometimes like they're not really supposed to report late payments on they're not really supposed to report late payments on closed accounts, but they still do sometimes. So the goal is to just get that. Okay, if it's closed, then we need to get it all completely removed. The late payments, I just talked about, a 35% of your score, so we definitely don't want them to be reporting late payments. Does anybody have any more questions? So that's good. So yeah, so 99% payment history is really good. 99%, 100% is good. That's what you want it to be reporting. So, so yeah. So sometimes bankruptcy can be, be very helpful, but sometimes, you still need credit repair because you got some accounts that don't like get cleaned off completely. Um, so yeah. So once you get the credit repair going, that's gonna definitely help you out a lot because it's gonna help those other bureaus. Does anybody else have any questions for me? Let me see. I will get with you. Yeah, you definitely want to start now because credit repair is not there's like no guaranteed time frame, but we can definitely by January you still got that's a good enough time to get you to where you want to be. And congratulations on nursing. Welcome. Perfect. Do you have any other questions? Okay, perfect. Well, if you have any other questions, I know you said we talked a few on Facebook. Feel free to hit me up. But I would definitely love for you to get started with the credit repair when you're ready. And we can definitely take you to exactly your goals and where you want to be. That is the ultimate goal here. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. As y'all can see, my 3-year-old, she's ready for mama. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up with y'all. If y'all have any questions, if you're in the credit repair program already, you can hit me up on the school community, message me there. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. And I appreciate you all for taking your time out this Saturday to hop on with me. As I mentioned, I'm gonna be doing these group coaching calls every first and third Saturday of the month. Okay. But if you want to reach me before then, if you have questions, please feel free to hit me up. Um, so I I use my free score now. So I don't use smart credit. I use my free score now. So you would need to be enrolled in the my free score now. But once you get enrolled, I have the steps and like it's gonna walk you through how to get set up for all of that. Yes, ma'am. Yep. And right now, Key, we have I just dropped a new program. So I have a program for $57 a month. So you would pay the $57 a month. And then of course the credit monitoring, which is $40 a month. So essentially you're paying a little less than $100 a month to do the credit repair. So if you want to get signed up, it is $57 a month. Right now, up until I reach 100 members in the new community. Once I reach 100 people in that community, it's going to go up to 99. Right now, we at 25 people. So it's getting there. I just dropped it about a week ago. So, yeah. So once 100 members, it does go up to $99 a month. But if you lock in now, you can get in for $57 a month and it won't change. But yes, if you want, I can drop that link right here for you so you can have it. Hold on, let me get that for you. I'm gonna drop it in the comments. So here's the link right here. And it'll take you straight to the community. But yes, ma'am, that's all for today. Like I said, I appreciate everybody who hopped on, who stayed to the end. And I definitely appreciate you all. Let me see. Yeah, so I highly suggest you get started after your bankruptcy is discharged. After it's been discharged. So if you haven't discharged, I will wait until after you're discharged. Yes, ma'am. Yep. Well, again, thank you all. I appreciate you. If you guys have any other questions for me, please send me a message. And you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.